what is the topic about? Is it about Christian man going to Chris Gloss's channel?
Pretty much.
Samson Moon, he already won.
Amen.
Game over for Christian man.
Amen.
Game over. I'm sorry. Right.
That's the point.
Yeah. I didn't really finish the whole conversation, but I can tell that he game over for Christian man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly. So now we just look and learn really quickly from that, because that's a prime example of what we shouldn't be doing. Yeah. When did you get here? Did you just get here?
Me?
Yeah.
I've been kind of listening to you. And
okay. The message is don't go on those things. That's the message I want for him. We told him already. Don't. Because you're never going to win.
He already won.
Amen.
Game over for Christian man.
Amen.
Game over. I'm sorry.
Hello. Welcome to another live stream. So apparently there was some upset Unitarians last night. Before I do start the show off here, I'm going to bring up the one backstage. Mr. More Names Than Allah. It's Dr. Kufar Phobia himself. How are you doing, brother?
Hey, Chris, I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing wonderful.
Hopefully it's not cold and wet over there.
No, well, it is. It rained and it is a little cooler, but it hasn't. It snowed a little bit, but we still don't have snow on the ground where I live in Ontario, anyways. Yet.
Oh man, yeah, I don't know what happened this year. We had snow last year in November, but I only get snow 4 or 5 days out of the whole winter. So,
that makes sense, then. Eh? All right, so. As everybody saw in the opening video, we had the Unitarians, the Brothers of Jesus, Brother Flo and Brother Aaron, admitting that Christian man lost last night. He made himself look like an idiot. Simple questions were asked. Simple questions were avoided. And now they want to try to keep people away. And now the reason for that is because they know that they can't answer questions. So it's like, hey, you guys aren't strong in your faith yet. Don't go there. You may become a Trinitarian. So I believe that they're just trying to keep people away from knowing the truth. So I think it was rather funny that they had a live stream last night. So I wanted to use that as the opening video for today. Before we get into today's show, though, let me just say hello to the light of Christ. Jesus is my Lord. Longinus, Jerusalem, God bless you all. Andrew Martin, good to see you. Thank you very much for showing up. Thank you for your support. Chloe Waked, God bless you, sister. Thank you very much for your support. Ashur G, God bless you. Tyler, God bless you, brother. Good to see you. Another young brother in Christ, Tyler B. He definitely attacks those Unitarians out there. Keep up the great work, brother. We have Emmanuel Shahid in the chat as well. God bless you, brother. Sandra Shu Wang, how are you doing? Players Faint says, I will see it tomorrow, so they must be doing something. And Soli Dio Gloria Apologetics here at the start of the live stream as normal. How you doing, Soli? He's a young apologist out there. And thank you very much for my troll, Jason Bourne, for showing up as well. I appreciate the trolls of the room. So thank you to my troll, Jason Bourne, for showing up. I hope that you learned something about your prophet today, because that's what today's topic is. So today's topic, I'll let you say a few things here if you want, Dr. Kufar Phobia. The topic would be, are Muslims right? Is Muhammad a true prophet?
Well, I think he is. But here's the catch. I think he's a true prophet, but for Satan.
I think if we keep that in mind, I think that might come true later on in the live stream. So what I've did today here, folks, is I've compiled a slide. Yes, that's right, people. I did another slide up. But boom, there it is. All righty. So we're going to start off with, are Muslims right? Is Muhammad a true prophet? Now, this is a detrimental question for Muslims. If, in fact, there is concrete evidence that their prophet is not a true prophet, then they are not following the true God. And in this presentation, I will provide evidence from the Islamic sources for this very question. So, diving into it right away. In this presentation, I will go over 3 main arguments to provide my evidence that Muhammad could not have been a true prophet. Number 1. There it is. Is Muhammad truly who he says he is? We'll have a comparison between 2 different people who had identified themselves as a prophet. And we will also see if Muhammad's understanding of science proves he cannot be a prophet. So those are the 3 things that I'll be going over. A comparison of 2 different people, the understanding of science, and is Muhammad truly who he says he is? Again, I'll explain later for that one. So when we go into the comparison of the 2 men, the 2 men that I'm going to be comparing is Muhammad of Islam and Joseph Smith of the Mormonisms. Both men brought forth inspired books given to them by an angel. Both, kind of a little spelling mistake there, but both men claim to have revelation that corrects the previous revelation. Both claim the previous revelations are corrupted, hence the need for their specific book. Both men tell a similar tale of receiving revelation. Now, both pushed against the cultural norms for women and instituted polygamy. As part of their respective theologies, the followers of both men were fiercely loyal, perhaps to the fault in the eyes of many. And I think that this goes well with the Joseph Smith of the Mormonisms and also Muhammad. They were both lustful. That's all they had in their eyes. That's all they had in their heart. They had no love, they had lust. So they figured, hey, what's a way that I could have more than one wife? Oh, that's it. God's going to give me a revelation and tell these women that I can have more than one wife, and they can't be upset with it. And then if they're upset with it, well, sucks to be them. I'm going to do it anyways. Definitely great prophet, great prophet. Both men led their followers away from their original location due to persecution. That's right, people. Just like Muhammad, Joseph Smith led a migration. So therefore, in the same thing, like now, if we think about it, Muslims would say that Muhammad would be the prophet of Deuteronomy 18:18. And I think that they use the migration as one of their arguments. So now we can say Joseph Smith is equally the prophet of Deuteronomy 18:18 in a Muslim's eyes because he does the same type of migration. So, what can we conclude from this? Muhammad's claim of prophethood is not a unique claim. And if Muhammad is a prophet to a Muslim, they cannot deny Joseph Smith based upon the same criteria they place upon Muhammad. So when they use these stupid standards to tell you that Muhammad's a prophet, they can't use them because a lot of these criteria add up for Joseph Smith the same way. Is there anything that you want to say so far, Dr. Kufarphobia?
Well, actually, I think that's an excellent comparison. I didn't even think about it. I thought you were going to compare somebody else, but that's very true. I mean, they both claim to be prophets. They both supposedly got revelation from an angel. They were both very into a sexual nature, having more than one wife. And you were correct. They did leave from the place of persecution to build their own little, I want to call it kingdom, to where they can fulfill all their desires.
Yeah, they went and built their own little whorehouses, basically, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah, I agree with you. All right, so let's continuing on so we can tell that the comparison there isn't something that a Muslim should use to show that Muhammad is a true prophet and actually goes against him being a true prophet. But there's a question that I would love to ask Muslims. How long can a woman be pregnant? There are several views have been reported of the scholars who believe that the pregnancy period can be more than 9 months. Some of them believe that the maximum period of gestation is 1 year. Hanafis maintain that pregnancy can extend to 2 years. That's right, people. The Hanafis believe that pregnancy, women can carry babies for 2 years. Layth ibn Sa'd believed that the possibility of 3 years of pregnancy could not be ruled out. Man, these guys are scientists of the highest order, aren't they? And the Shafis and the Hanbalis concurred that the maximum period of pregnancy is 4 years. This view has also been reckoned as the greater opinion of the Malikis. So, so even if we take the view of the 2 years and we go all the way back to basically the smallest view, which all schools of thought would agree with, means that a Muslim must believe a woman can be pregnant for 2 years, 24 months. That's right, people. How could a true prophet of God lead his people to believe such thing? And this isn't just in the 6th century. This is in the 21st century. People and Muslims believe that women can carry babies for 2 years. Now, this is because of a specific prophet which had a very miraculous birth. Well, apparently. Ibn Sa'd, basing his claim on al-Waqidi, states that Hamza was reported 4 years older than Muhammad. This is disputed by Sayyid, who agrees Zabir narrated that Hamza was 4 years older than the Prophet. But this does not seem correct because reliable hadith state that Thuwaiba nursed both Hamza and the Prophet. Ibn Sa'id concludes that Hamza was only 2 years older than Muhammad. Ibn Hajar writes as a conclusion of Ibn Sa'id's hadith, Hamza was born 2 to 4 years before Muhammad. So there's a question there. It's either 2 years or 4 years before Muhammad. So again, Hamza being his uncle, Muhammad's uncle, was born either 2 years or 4 years before he was born. And you're wondering why that would even come in to make sense, right? Well, the history books of Ibn Ashaq and Ibn Hisham says that in great detail the quiz comes into play as Hamza, which is Muhammad's uncle, was born in the same year as Muhammad's father died. That's right. So Ibn Ashaq, Ibn Hisham went into great detail explaining that Hamza, Muhammad's uncle, was born in the same year as Muhammad's father died. So, if Hamza, being Muhammad's uncle, is between 2 to 4 years older than Muhammad, then Muhammad would have been in his mother's womb for 2 to 4 years. That's the way we look at it there. So Mohammedans must accept their prophet was in his mother's womb for 2 to 4 years. And it's not me saying this, it's your scholars. Because of your prophet. Muslims, don't blame me. Blame your own scholars and your prophet. You got anything to say about that, Dr. Kufar Phobia?
Now, would it be fair to say that it points out that both of them got, his mother and I guess his uncle's mother got pregnant relatively around the same time? Is that the deal?
Yeah.
But one stayed in a couple extra years to roast over a little bit better?
A little bit. Yeah, they just, yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. That's what I was thinking too, right? So, anyway. So Jason Bourne says here, you're talking about a prophet and you haven't even given your definition of a prophet. That's the first thing you should do. Your used words, prophet is empty. Well, literally, Jason Bourne, are you okay with a woman being pregnant for between 2 to 4 years? Go ahead and answer that question. And let's continue. So let's do a recap of what we have discussed so far. First off, we have discussed the comparison between Muhammad and Joseph Smith. When one looks at the similarities between those two, we can conclude that they both have the exact same claim to prophethood. So Muslims cannot deny Joseph Smith as being a true prophet of God, or they must reject their own prophet claims. Then next we viewed the idea that Muslims believe that a woman can be pregnant from anywhere between 2 years and 4 years. And this is because of their prophet was in his mother's womb for 2 to 4 years, depending on the narration or school of thought that you look into. Lastly, we come to probably the best reason to reject Muhammad in Islam. This is the tafsir of Surah 17, verse 64, that states, it was narrated by from Jafar ibn Muhammad that the shaitan sits on the male member of the man. So if he does not say Bismillah, he, the shaitan, has sex with his wife with him. And he, y'all see the word there, finishes into her vagina like men does. So this is saying that if a man does not say Bismillah, the shaitan jumps in, has a threesome with him and his wife, and they continue on. Wow. Oh, okay. Oh, sorry, my wife was just talking to me. But anyways, this is the so if a male does not say Bismillah while sleeping with his wife, the shaitan has a threesome with him and his wife, and the shaitan finishes inside of the woman just like the man does. And I'll continue here. And it was narrated in some traditions that there are strangers like ones among you. It was said, what are the strangers like ones? He said, those who were shared in by the jinn. So people actually believed that the jinn would have a threesome, right? If he didn't say Bismillah, the shaitan would jump in there for the threesome. All righty. And if the shaitan jumped in there for the threesome, it was narrated that a man said to Ibn Abbas, my wife woke up and in her vagina was a flame of fire. He said, that is from the jinn's intercourse. So now we have it. If a male does not say Bismillah, then the shaitan jumps in there for the threesome. And we know this because there's little shaitans out there that have been shared already. And also, somebody come to Ibn Abbas and said his wife woke up and her vagina was on fire, a flame of fire. Notice? I quit laughing. Anything that you would like to say here, Dr. Kufar Phobia?
Oh man, I should have muted myself because I'm trying to keep myself from laughing. So by this hadith, now I understand what happened to Solomon. Because remember, Solomon promised that he was going to have sex with all his wives, and they were all going to bear him a son. But because he didn't say Bismillah, apparently it was Shaitan that had sex, and only one of his wives had half a human, whatever that is. So now we know it was really Shaitan that had sex with the one that got pregnant, all because the man didn't say Bismillah 90 times.
Had a little gin, baby.
There you go.
His wife's vagina was probably a flame of fire. And I think they missed a word here, because I think that it was supposed to say my wife woke up and in her vagina was a smokeless flame of fire, because isn't that where the jinns are created from?
Well, it depends on the source. There are sources that say it's a smokeless fire.
That'd be some hot fire.
I'm telling you, man, she's
wow.
I'm not even going to go there.
All right, but why is that important? Why is it important that a man is supposed to be? Why is it important that I would bring up that a man would say Bismillah or the threesome? Well, we can conclude and we can determine from the Islamic sources that Muhammad was created by a shaitan. Why? Because his father was a pagan and would not have said Bismillah. And also, this is where it gets even worse. No one would have ever known to say that when having sex with their wife, right? Because of this, because this is a revelation that Muhammad brought. So logically, one must conclude that until the day Muhammad revealed this verse, no one in history would have ever known to say Bismillah, which would logically follow every human that has a mother and a father is a shaitan baby, according to Islam and especially Muhammad. So, because Muhammad was created by a shaitan, that would explain why his mother carried him in her womb until he could walk out of her womb, right? And I'm not even joking about this. Y'all have 2-year-olds. My 2-year-old walked. Many 2-year-olds walked. And technically, if he's 4 years old, he almost had a beard coming out. Right? He probably come out smoking a cigarette, skipping a loo. Like, and just imagine this. All the women out there. If the pregnancy was no burden at all, just imagine, who cares if there was no burden, right? How much pain would a woman be in delivering a 2-year-old or even a 4-year-old? My baby when he was born was 7 or 8 pounds, few ounces. This is probably a 20-pound or 30-pound baby at this point. Could you imagine that, ladies? Carrying a baby for 2 to 4 years and then going in and giving birth to a 20 to 30, maybe even more by that point, right? So Muslims, why are you following the offspring of Satan, who was incubating for 2 to 4 years? Can you explain why you follow a man like this? And that is the end of my presentation. That was awesome, wasn't it? That was, oh, we got Radical up here. All right. All right. How are we doing? I thought that was awesome.
That was great, dude. That was, dude. That's a hunk of burning love right there, buddy. I tell you what, that's some really hot sex, flaming vagina, man, kinky threesome, dude, with the shaitan. You know what? I bet you, Muslims seriously don't say the Bismillah. You know, they might forget the first time, and they just really have the best sex with their wife ever because they're possessed by the demon, you know, by the jinn, the shaitan. So I bet you they don't say it as much often as they want to because, you know, it's kinky stuff, man. I'm just saying, and that flaming vagina, dude, that do it, man. You know what I mean? Now, maybe it was a flaming vagina because it was an STD, but who knows? You know, medical science back then was more of an art than a science, really. You know, but yeah, that was great stuff, bro. That was. Go ahead.
I'm just going to Jason Bourne. I do have I have a text troll. I think I have a few. How many dislikes do we got in the room? Only none. What's going on here?
I see one.
Oh, okay. Okay, there is one. All right. All right, Jason Bourne. That's got to be you. Or is that Poo Poo? Maybe it's Poo Poo.
Is Poo Poo a Muslim?
Maybe. Any Muslim out there, are you sure your daddy said Bismillah before him and your mommy, you know, went and did the little action? Because if not, your mom just had a threesome with him and Shaitan. And you are a little jinn baby.
Lots of little jinn babies out there. Maybe that would go ahead, I'm sorry.
But it would make sense. Right? Because if we logically think about this, right? Because the Quran was revealed to Muhammad over a period of so many years, right? Well, like 20 some years. So up until the day that Muhammad actually revealed Surah 17 verse 64, and maybe actually until they wrote the tafsir, maybe this was Ibn Kathir, and this was like, 600 years after that, or 400 years, whatever it was. But anyway, all of these people before the time of Muhammad, before Muhammad became a prophet, before they started saying Bismillah, Shaitan was having a field day. He was with every woman ever created between Adam and Eve and Muhammad telling people to say Bismillah. Right? If this is true, Shaitan's been having a lot of threesomes over the years.
Oh, yeah. Well, didn't you also bring up that, because Muhammad's father was a pagan, right? Did he say the Bismillah? I think you brought that up, right? So Muhammad could be a little jinn baby, or is a little jinn baby. 3 years, 4 years in the womb? Yeah. Yeah, that's good. He's a jinn baby.
Yeah. All righty, there you go, Muslims. There's the link out there. If any of you Muslims want to come up and refute any of the information that I put out there, feel free. I actually think that I was being very, very conservative with the datings of your prophet being in his mother's stomach. I actually even allowed 2 years, which is a very frowned upon view when it comes to the Islamic world. They're okay with like 3. 3 is a good number for them.
I mean, right? It's in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, don't say 3. You know.
Oh yeah. No. Don't say 3.
If I recall correctly, this is actually an Islamic Sharia law. I'm going to have to relook that up, where it talks about you can't stone a woman to death for being pregnant for 3 or 4 years or something like that, because that's been known to happen. Let me find that. Let me see if I can find that source. Yeah. Let me get to that. Yeah.
Hey, but Chris, there's other sources that would prove that Muhammad is a false prophet, and I think I did something on it. If you read the hadiths, this is what we know about Muhammad. Okay, Muhammad had black magic done to him, right? Any other prophets that we know that had black magic done to him? We know that Muhammad imagined things, you know, like having sex with all his lovely wives, including that 9-year-old hottie. which means if he's imagining things, how do I know he didn't imagine all of this crap that's in the Quran? We know that Muhammad forgot verses, right? So much for that, 100% memorization, because he had to be reminded. We know that he got revelation as ringing bells, which the bell is a instrument of Shaitan, and we know that he couldn't tell the difference between the revelations of Allah and the revelations of Shaitan. And seriously, who gets revelations as ringing bells? That one I am still trying to understand. How would you decipher? Was this like the forefather of the Morse code? Dot dot dash dash dot dot. But instead they used a bell, ring ding 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 dong. I mean, seriously, that alone right there should tell you, okay, we got a problem here. This man is hearing bells. Bells are from Shaitan, but yet we accept this revelation. I mean, it's just mind-blowing. And Mr. Jason Bourne, who I don't even know why we bother, because
I just say hi to the text troll. That's all I do.
He's bitching and complaining about definitions. Well, how come a Muslim should give us a definition of what a prophet is? Because apparently
that's going to happen.
Because apparently a prophet in Islam is very different than a prophet in, let's say, the Old Testament.
True enough. So, Soli Dio Gloria Apologetics. How you doing tonight?
We're good. God bless you, Chris. Watching the stream.
So, what's your comments for tonight?
Specifically, there's was obviously Jason Bourne in the chat, but there's also a guy named Poo Poo is his username. You should get him to come on. Oh wait, never mind. He says he can't join the stream. I didn't see that.
Yeah, he just actually put it up there a few seconds ago and said that he can't join the stream at the moment. My apologies. Normally trolls, they'll say, how can I join? How can I join? I want to ask you questions. And then once you put the link into the stream, they're like, oh, yeah, sorry, I can't join. Whoops. So I'm used to it, which I don't really care if Muslims come up because they can't defend this anyways.
Yeah.
Well, see, this is the main reason why I prefer StreamYard or something like StreamYard, because they can't give the excuse, well, I don't have the app, I don't have the software. If they're already online, like Mr. Poo Poo is, I mean, he's on the chat, which means he's using a browser, right? And all it takes is to click on the link, which is in the browser. So there's no excuse.
Yeah, no, Poo Poo, sorry, if you're listening, stop cowering away, bro. Come join the stream and put us little girls in our places, Sam would say.
Yeah, and I'll just answer Jason Bourne here since since I'm not really doing much anyways. So Jason Bourne says, no, you are talking about prophet. No, I'm talking about Muhammad. He says you should make your words clear. I'm pretty sure they were pretty clear. He says you're basically trying to disprove something you have no definition for. So my definition would be a prophet that whose parents do not have a threesome with Satan.
Whoa.
My idea of a prophet would be also one that does not sit in his mom's belly for 2 to 4 years. Those are two ideas that I would think that wouldn't qualify someone to be a prophet.
Talk about a mama's boy, man. He sat there in the womb for 4 years. He didn't want to come out, dude.
He came out with a smoke in his mouth.
It was nice and warm.
I'm a father. I have 5 kids. I know what my child was like at 2 years old. I was holding my child's hand. We were walking around. We were doing stuff. I was putting shoes, putting this, pants and shirt and coat on him and everything. We're going out walking around like he was a little person at that. He's like my little man. That's like the perfect. Like when you're a dad and the kids are growing up and you're doing diaper changes and you're playing with the baby, that's all cool and everything. I loved it, every minute of it. But when you were able to actually have your son or daughter walk beside you, holding your finger and actually walking, that's the best time ever. Right. But that's when Muhammad was born.
Well,
wait a
he's a
minute.
jinn baby. Yeah. Well, that proves he's a prophet. See, because only a prophet would stay in the womb for 4 years. Yeah, that makes sense. Right. Only to a Muslim.
And the problem is that we know that if a Muslim man or a man does not say Bismillah before he has sex with his wife, the jinn jumps in there and has a threesome, or Satan jumps in there and has a threesome. So we know that Muhammad's dad was a pagan. So we know that he didn't say Bismillah when him and his wife Amina had some little extracurricular activities as married folks. So basically, Muhammad's dad and Shaitan tag teamed. Muhammad's mom had a little threesome with her, and she was pregnant for 2 to 4 years. And now Muhammad is a little jinn baby, which everybody thinks is a prophet of Islam.
Okay. See, I think Muhammad.
Muhammad speaking? Yeah,
Hey.
what happened?
Sorry about that.
This gives a whole new meaning to hot sausage.
Yeah,
See, Rad got it.
I would assume so too, because after that guy going to Ibn Abbas and telling him that his wife's vagina was like a fiery flame.
She had a hot sausage.
Yeah, I'd say. And it's even worse because Muhammad's dad didn't say Bismillah, and they had that threesome, that big old tag team with Muhammad's mom. Muhammad's dad didn't even get to finish inside of Muhammad's mom. It was Shaitan that finished inside of Muhammad's mom, according to.
Okay, this is getting too far.
And again, people, don't be all mad at me for this. This is from the Islamic sources, not me. You need to go look up Ibn Kathir and look up Ibn Hisham. That's all I need.
Chris,
that was some serious jinn jizz, man. I'm just saying, dude. Okay, that's enough.
You got a new fan here, Mr. What's his name?
I have no idea. I wasn't even looking.
Oh, Armin Moradi.
Oh, Armin here, he says,
yeah.
So you couldn't bring anything from the Quran, but you rather go to corrupted 200 years later written hadith books. So are you a Quran only, Armin Moradi? And again, Armin, hey, I'll post the link out there. You can come on up. You can have a discussion. You think that I'm wrong. I have no problem showing that Islam is not the true religion and Muhammad is a false prophet. But if you think... Yeah. Soli, I think that was you, man. You go down on there.
He's got a gin.
No.
Yeah. But anyway, go ahead, click that button. Come on up. Let's have a discussion.
We'll make you famous. Hey, he just did us a favor because he just threw out just about every single source, hell, even including the Quran, because everything that they have is at least 200 years after Muhammad.
Yeah. I'm assuming
that
he's a Quran only Muslim.
Oh, okay. Well,
that's what I was assuming.
I want to discuss that if he's okay with that. I want to discuss a hadith where Muhammad hit Aisha and she says it caused her great pain, because that's a big one.
All right. Well, let me have a discussion with him here. Let's not bombard him.
Definitely.
All right. So we got little. Oh, maybe not. Who's this?
This is Omni.
Oh, okay. This is Omni.
Welcome.
How you doing, man?
I'm good, thank you. So what happened to my question? You couldn't bring anything from Quran?
Okay, first off, are you a Sunni? Are you a Shia? Are you a Quran-only Muslim?
Assume I'm Muslim. Now, what's your question?
Okay. My next question: do you know if your dad said Bismillah when him and your mom were together before you were born?
That's not in my book. I didn't accept that at this book, did I?
Oh, so you don't accept hadith?
There are numerous hadiths. There are
so are you okay? Are you okay with your? Just a second here, sir. Are you okay with a woman being pregnant for between 2 and 4 years?
That's in Sunni hadiths, right?
Are you okay with that, sir?
He's not a
I
Sunni.
told you I'm gonna accept that. It's Sunni hadiths.
So you're a Shia then? So you're a Shia?
Actually, I'm a
Muslim?
Shia.
Well,
You're
I
a
want
Shia?
you to
Okay.
tell me why I should go to Shia sources and why I can't go to Sunni sources. Aren't they both Muslim?
They're Muslim, but their narrations are biased.
But who says this?
All Muslims know that Shia don't accept Sunnis books and Sunnis don't accept Shia books. This
I
is
don't care
common.
if you don't accept their books. Like, what type of science do you have to authenticate hadith?
You have Ilm Rajal
So basically the same type of thing Sunnis have?
with the biased narration.
Oh, so they have a biased narration and you have an unbiased narration.
Because you couldn't bring any of those from Shia books, right?
But let's just say I had a Sunni and a Shia both up here right now. Why can't I quote from either one of those hadith? Because you're all Muslims, right? They should all be authentic, shouldn't they? Or are you only ignoring them and discrediting them because you don't like what they say and you don't like who compiled them?
Here's the thing that you don't understand. In
No,
Shia,
can you answer my question?
no, your question is not asked correctly.
Sure it is.
No,
You
because
don't like it because it's a Sunni hadith.
we don't like it because it's not inspired by the infallible imams.
Bruh.
The infallible. Oh,
He's a
I
Shia.
suppose the 12ers. But the problem here is I don't care if somebody's a Shia or a Sunni. I don't care. I quote whatever hadiths I want to.
You can, but you don't. You shouldn't. You shouldn't expect to. Everybody believes in it.
Well, I mean, I would say about 90% of Muslims have to believe in it.
Here,
After all,
just a second here, guys. Open-minded Christian or open-minded Muslim. Why do you keep running
Can't
from
stand that
me?
guy.
I'll
it's
put the
him.
link in for you one more time. You said you've been here for an hour. I haven't even been live for 45 minutes yet.
I was
So
just going
that's
to
a
say
little
that.
bit of a lie. But here, I'll go ahead and I'll put the StreamYard link in there.
Yes.
And how about you come on up here? I'll drop everybody else backstage for a minute, and me and you will have a nice little one-on-one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to
friendly
the chat and
discussion.
tell him.
Come on up,
Yeah.
little open-minded Muslim.
Hey,
let's have a discussion.
He was in my show last night. He wouldn't come on it either.
No, he wouldn't come on and actually have a discussion with a Christian. He would actually because at that point people would know that he's a fraud, right? He's got to keep that. He's got to keep that image that he's.
He has
not a
the
fraud.
weirdest thumbnails ever. He's like has his mouth wide open, looking at some stupid thing.
You don't have to say nearly an hour, open-minded Christian. You could just click that link. Come on in. I put it into the chat. Come on in. Let's have a discussion. There's 4 people up here, but I'll lower them all to the backstage. As soon as you come in here, I'll lower everybody to the backstage. You can come on up. Me and you can have a one-on-one discussion. I'm sure that you're not going to, but that's up to you.
In the chat, he just said, "I am a Christian."
No, he's not a Christian.
Yeah.
Because now, unless he's a real troll, if you would actually look at his titles, right, it actually says that he took his Shahada. And then he says, sorry, Christians, why I left. So why I left Christianity, he took his Shahada. Those are 2 titles.
Yeah, but he's a Christian. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm taking it that he's not clickbaiting those titles. So if they're not clickbait, then he would be a Muslim, right? If they're not clickbait titles, then he would be a Muslim. If they are clickbait titles, then he's just a troll.
He just in the chat, he said, I'm just here to watch and listen.
Yeah, he won't come up
What
here
a
anymore.
coward.
All right, so Mr. Armeni, first off, I want to know, because there's there's more Sunni Muslims than there are Shia,
Okay.
right? So I want to know why I should have to quote a Shia source when I'm talking to a Shia Muslim. Why can't I quote a Sunni one? Give me a
Because
logical reason.
because my sources are from infallible persons. Sunni sources is from companions or Hamza. They are not infallible.
Well, some
So,
come
so
straight from Aisha.
I'm
Aisha is
sorry,
not
Chris.
infallible.
I'm sorry, Chris. Interrupt. So, are you saying that the Shia sources coming from they're infallible, like Allah is infallible?
You mean your God is not infallible?
I'm sorry.
Your God is not infallible?
Well, we
No,
do believe
our
God
God
is
is infallible.
infallible.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay,
Definitely.
the same as our God is also infallible.
But we don't believe
So-
human beings can be infallible.
So,
But we believe they can be.
right. So you believe that human beings can take on the attributes of God, one of them being infallible. That's very interesting.
Hey, Bam Bam, who are
They
you?
can take attributes of God.
Hi, Chris.
In Quran, it said the people are David, Solomon were guided by God. That means they couldn't make any sin. But in your corrupted books, they committed sins.
Right, but you're saying that your sources, in other words, your hadiths.
Hey guys, just a
versions of
second.
hadiths-
I just want to see who. Bam Bam, I think it is, or yeah, Bam Bam. Are you
Hello,
Christian,
Chris.
Muslim?
Christian, Chris.
What would be your normal name? Are you open-minded Christian?
Yeah, yeah.
No, you're not.
You're not the open-minded Christian.
No, no,
So why would you lie?
no.
This guy's a troll.
I thought. Say again.
I said, why would you say that you're the open-minded Christian when you're not?
I thought you were asking me if I was an open-minded Christian, meaning a general comment, not
Okay.
as a person.
All right. Well, for right now, just because you're a Christian brother, I'm just going to move you backstage just for a little bit. We do have a few up here. I don't want to have the Muslim gentleman feeling like we're attacking him too much. Once I have, I'll lower another Christian brother at another time, and I'll bring you back up here shortly. But go ahead, Rad. You were saying?
Radical, what was your last statement?
Okay, so I was asking, so Chris was asking about, why should we believe the Shia sources? Okay, now I don't know if you understood what he meant by this, but we're talking the Shia sources outside of the Quran. Okay, and you said because those sources are infallible. Well, those sources outside the Quran come from human beings. So human beings can write infallible sources, then therefore they are taking on an attribute of God who is infallible.
No, you're not getting it.
Okay, well, please explain.
God inspires the people that he wants, like Solomon, Prophet Muhammad, and all the prophets in Islam are sinless. In your books, I know they are sinners, and you think Jesus is the only sinless person on earth.
Hey. Armina, are you going to answer the question, or are you going to try to go to our Bible? Because it seems to me like you are a Shia, right? So
Yes.
you accept Muta.
I
right?
accept the same in your book, Exodus.
So you accept Muta,
you
right?
can sell your daughter as a slave. Is that
So you can sell your daughter as a prostitute to another man under Muta, right?
The same is in your book, Exodus, right?
He just admitted it.
So you're accepting this, though, right, Amina?
You should accept this in your book, right?
And doesn't it say in Surah 24:33 or 23:44, one or the other, that you're not supposed to prostitute your slave girls? Oh, but
if you do, it's okay.
I'll finish the verse. It says that if you do prostitute your slave girls, that Allah will forgive you. Right? So it's okay for you as a Muslim to prostitute your daughter and your slave girl, and that's okay. And you believe that a true prophet of God would have brought that message for all of mankind.
Easy.
I have the same question from you. You believe your book
Are you gonna answer my question, Armina?
No, I can't.
No, you're not gonna answer my question.
Argument. I have
no,
the same
you don't.
argument.
No, you don't, because you're gonna bring up some type of thing in the Old Testament where it was not a law commanded to them to do this. Plus, when we talk about the Old Testament, That's not a law for all of mankind for all of eternity. Now, when we speak about your Quran and what you believe that these things should be implemented from the time of your prophet till eternity. So quit lying. So
There is no difference between
describe to
eternity or
me,
not eternity.
can you describe to me how you could say that an all-loving God or a true prophet of God would allow you to prostitute your daughter and or your slave girl?
The same is in your book, Exodus
And you're okay with
21:7.
that, right? You're
Exodus
okay.
21:7.
You're okay with your God telling you that you can prostitute your daughter.
You're okay with
And
your
you
Jesus
chose,
God in Old
and
Testament.
you
Your
actually
Jesus
chose
was
that
God.
sect.
In Old Testament,
Amina,
your Jesus
you
was God. He ordered.
actually chose that sect. And the problem is that you chose that sect and your prophet's dad didn't even say Bismillah
Not in my
before
book.
he had
Not
sex
in my
with his
book.
wife.
Stop it.
So
Stop it. Not
your
in my book.
prophet was a little jinn baby.
Well, I refuted you. Now
How
you're
do you
attacking. I
feel,
refuted you.
Amina?
Now you're changing
How did
subject.
you refute me? Because
You
your
change the
God,
subject. My
your
argument is
God
this. The same is in
allows
Exodus.
you,
The
your
same is
God
in Exodus.
allows you
My
to
argument is
prostitute
this.
your daughter. Your God allows you to
Your Jesus
prostitute
got allowed
slaves,
in Exodus
and
to
your
sell your
prophet was a
slave,
little
sell your
jinn
daughter as a
baby.
slave.
And your prophet was a little jinn baby.
Nah, I
And
refuted you.
this is
That's not
your
you're attacking
religion.
me. You're
Chris,
attacking
And
me. That's
this
not
is,
in my book.
I'm not attacking you.
That's not in my book.
Your religion.
That's not my book.
Yes, it is. You're
You
a
got
Muslim.
refuted by me.
That's a Muslim, right? Your God, forever, for eternity, wants it to be a law in every land,
Yes.
forever,
Yes.
that men will sell their daughters and slaves.
The same is in your book. Why your God ordered it?
Prove
Chris,
it.
I can answer his question.
No, solely. Prove in my book that we are commanded to marry and to prostitute girls for the rest of eternity. Go ahead.
Discussion is not about their eternity. It's about
Yes,
the law
it
of God
is.
that your Jesus
Yes, it
God
is.
ordered in the Old Testament.
Because your prophet and your religion believes that your religion should dominate this earth.
Of
and
course,
that your law,
this is not
Sharia
the
law,
discussion. This
should
is
be
not the
the
discussion.
law of the land. Correct?
Of course, that's correct.
Of
But this is not the
course.
discussion.
So when Sharia is implemented worldwide, you Muslims are going to be allowed to prostitute your daughters and your slave girls, correct?
Isn't that in your
Correct.
Exodus?
Correct.
You can't answer.
You're about to
see,
say correct,
I have
and
the
then you
same
had to go
argument.
to
You can't answer
Exodus.
me. You can't answer me.
Why can't you answer my question to me?
I answered that
am I
yes.
correct?
I answered yes, but the same
So
is your book.
so your God does command you for eternity to sell your little daughters off as prostitutes.
Is
and
it right or wrong?
girls.
Is it right or wrong?
It's wrong. It's
so why
wrong.
your Jesus got ordered in
It's
Exodus?
wrong.
Why
That's
your Jesus
pretty
got ordered
sad.
in Exodus?
That's pretty sad that
Stop
your
the
little
laughs.
jinn baby of a prophet, right, says that you're allowed to sell your daughter and your slave girls for eternity. Open-minded Christian. I want to put this up here. I'm hoping that you actually condemn, or actually hope that you condemn this. Open-minded Christian. I should be being bossy, shouldn't I? You really want him to speak, open-minded Christian?
He's not a Christian. He's a liar.
The man that says that he accepts that he is going to sell his daughter in prostitution because his God and prophet said that he could for the rest of eternity, and his slave girls, he actually said that, yes, that's what he believes. His little jinn baby of a prophet, that little Hugh Hefner himself, wants to prostitute little girls and slaves. And you and this guy are sticking up for him. Is there a problem with that? Am I the only one that sees a problem with that? Go ahead. Anybody could talk. Armin is still backstage. You guys could talk to him in the chat if you want. I'm not going to bring a Muslim up on this channel that thinks that it's okay to sell his daughter as a prostitute and actually admits it. And then he tries to say that the Old Testament commanded it. no, the Old Testament didn't command prostitution.
I was gonna also answer what the Muslim gentleman was saying. By the way, one of your scholars, if he's listening to me, Al-Tabari, said that David committed adultery, and even some of your early Tafsir literature says that as well. Also, open-minded Christian in the chat, join the stream, stop being a coward. I've tried to talk to him, and I know he can see me because when the YouTube live stream, when you tag someone's name, it kind of highlights in orange, you know? So I can tell that he knows that people are asking him, but he's purposely cowarding away and exposing himself. But yeah, that's all I'm going to say for
now. Ready? Is there anything that you want to add into their Dr. Kufar phobia?
Well, I just want to say, and I had this problem last night with a Muslim who never answered me. See, it's so easy to spank these guys because when they say, last night, the question was, why did Jesus command Moses to kill the babies and so forth, right? So I asked him, are you saying that Jesus is the one who commanded the floods that killed everybody except Noah's family? He never answered. So when these idiots try to say, why did Jesus command to sell your daughters and stuff like that? It's easy. I turn around and say, great. So are you saying that Jesus is the one who commanded the flood? Now, they have no way out, so they can't answer. If they say no, then they admit that there's, we have the triune God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, right? And we know that the Old Testament is pretty much the God the Father, or that triune head. So by them claiming that Jesus is the one that's giving those commands, they now can't turn around and say, well, Jesus didn't command the flood that killed all the people during the time of Noah, because then they're admitting that there's actually more than one. And if they say yes, well, they got a problem, because in the Quran, Allah sent the flood. So is Jesus Allah? Which brings me back, a Muslim should never use John for Muhammad being the comforter, because what does John say? Jesus is the one who sends the comforter through the Father. So are they saying that Isa in the Quran is the one who sent Muhammad? Which we know they'll never agree to that. So if these guys were smart, they wouldn't say, why did Jesus command such and such? Because now they're stuck. If Jesus commanded, let's say, for Moses to wipe out the Amalekites and the Canaanites, that he also caused the flood. Because if he didn't cause the flood, but he commanded Moses, well, now we got two. And that's a problem for them.
Just before anybody else there, thank you very much for the super chat. God bless you. Thank you very much for the support for the ministry. And he says here, Surah 46:15 states that the pregnancy is 9 or 10 months. Did the four schools of theology intend to cover up that Muhammad was illegitimate? That is very possible. Because Muhammad being in his mommy's womb for 2 to 4 years could possibly be a reason for them to do that, to cover up the illegitimacy of him. But let's take into consideration, though, folks, right? It's very possible that Muhammad could be in the mother of his womb, in his mother's womb for 2 to 4 years, right? His dad did not say Bismillah when he was conceived. And we know this because Muhammad's dad was a pagan. So since Muhammad's dad was a pagan, we know he wouldn't have said Bismillah when him and his wife conceived Muhammad. So therefore, we know that the shaitan and Muhammad's daddy did a little tag team action, a little threesome with Muhammad's mom. She probably had a flamey, fiery box as well, right? And then afterwards, and it wasn't Muhammad's dad that actually finished inside of Muhammad's mom. It was actually the shaitan that finished inside of his mom. So we know that Muhammad is a little jinn baby, right?
Just really quick, I want to add to this. According to the science of Islamic science, that if the man finishes first in the race, the child will look like him. And if the woman finishes first in the race, she will resemble the mother. So the descriptions of Muhammad, if you read the description of Muhammad, he was an ape beast-like of a man that always walked, he had a hunch. So he always walked like he was walking up the hill, uphill. He had hairy knuckles and arms that were overreached. So like he was a knuckle dragger with hairy knuckles. So he kind of looked like, the jinn. He resembled the jinn, so that's kind of interesting, on point on that. But I personally think that they were trying to cover up his pagan father, who just happened to have the name of Abdullah, right? Or something like that, slave of Allah, even though he was a pagan, that his mother was stepping out on him, and got pregnant, and had the baby 4 years later. So, but again, either way, we can go with that. Jinn baby. I like that. Muhammad the Jinn baby.
That's right.
Who resembles the jinn.
the little jinn baby Muhammad. And that's why he roasted inside of his mom's womb for 2 to 4 months. Come out walking, weighed about 35 pounds, probably had a smoke hanging out the right side of his mouth, probably had a little baseball cap on, ready to go. It was probably really sunny because he could see. And at 4 years old, you're talking. So when he was born, he probably came out and was like, "Hey, Mom, hey, good job. Thanks for letting me out." Right. So Muhammad was probably talking to his mother the day that she gave birth to him, since he was between 2 and 4 years old. But this is, of course, the prophet that these Mohammedans like to follow. So, but with saying that, folks, we're not going to be too long this evening. I do want to thank, first and foremost, my Lord and Savior for providing me the ability to have an online ministry, to be used as a vessel to be able to strengthen the people in the defense of the scriptures, and attacking the arguments against the scriptures, especially when they're as dumb as what Muslims normally are. And I also want to thank my wife and my children. Without them, I wouldn't be able to have the time or anything else to be able to put into the online ministry. So it's wonderful that I have a very godly wife and some wonderful children that they can support me in a way that can help me do this online ministry. And last but not least, thank you to everybody out there. Again, we had 60 people here this evening. Thank you so much for stopping by and listening to my big old mouth. DL, brother, if you would have been on our chat earlier in the Zoom group in Skype, you'd have been joining us tonight, brother. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much for all the support, even becoming a member, brother. Thank you so much. So again, thank you so much, everybody out there that does watch. If y'all didn't show up, it'd just be me talking here by myself. So thank you all for showing up. And again, the only support that I would ever ask anybody is that they just simply watch the videos. And if you like the videos, hit the like and subscribe button. After that, click that bell, turn on all notifications so you never miss another live stream. Like DL's not going to miss another live stream because I'm going to make sure that I send it to him each time. And if the Lord does place it upon your heart to offer a love offering for the ministry, you can join us as a member. We have the super chat and the super stickers, and you can join us on Patreon as well. And with saying that, though, there is another link in the description. I didn't want to mention it until now, but there is a link in the description, and it goes to a YouTube page. Now, it is for I'm not going to say who it's for, but there is a YouTube link in my description. There's a certain family that needs some help for Christmas. It's Christmas time. So if anybody has the ability to be able to bless this family with a wonderful Christmas, then please go to the description in the link and bless them as you see fit. So with saying that, thank you so much for showing up once again. God bless you all, and I will see you sometime this weekend. God bless, and talk to you later.